Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Cause Monarchy match. This one is back in Weekend Wage number 10. Back on the 3rd of January, we had some pretty exciting stuff go down. Ayud64 and Newt were in that upper bracket meeting after their first round opponents. And we had what I'm told is a very good game. So we're on Demilune, a map by Jujic. It's a port of Overwatch from the Starcraft 1 era. And Ayud64 is our blood Protoss, going for a gateway in the bottom right. Newt in the top left is our green Terran, but he's anything but a greenhorn. He's been around for quite some time, actually technically longer than Ayud, if you would believe it. A lot of people think of Ayud as like a guy who's been around for a very long time. In a way, I still look at him as a bit of a newcomer. Now, that's despite the fact that he won his inaugural tournament, Acropolis 2, his inaugural heavy competition there. And, of course, managed to make it all the way to the grand final of Acropolis 3. So, clearly he's been around the block, and he's definitely experienced, and he's definitely good. You know, more than a match for Newt, I would say. Particularly with the fact that he's moonlighting as Protoss, typically a Terran player, Ayud. But we were spared a TVT this time around, and our workers will meet in the middle for a little bit of a drive-by smoochie before they proceed to the respective corners of their opponents. We got a Dracoden coming for Ayud, and a couple of Fulcrums from Newt. So, no surprises there, but we get some little bit of background color on the players. Newt was around for the very first Acropolis, predating Ayud's arrival, and then kind of going off in the wilderness and coming back to us, returning to our fold so that he can do some epic gaming. Ayud just came in and scouted one Fulcrum. Didn't even really look like he scouted deep enough to see the second one. And then immediately pulled the scribe away, thinking, okay, well, I don't want my worker to be written off as a dead one, so he's going to sort of take an alternate route. Pretty solid stuff there as the Dracoden is chasing this Mason. No mines left over on the Vulture, so unlike in StarCraft 1, the mines here are lobotomy mines. They stun targets for 2 seconds, or 3 seconds rather, and then they slow them for an additional 3 after. Now that he's up to 2 Vultures, this is going to be a little bit more problematic. There is indeed even a mine set in this one, but he's actually the first one to fall. So the Scribe also trying to add a little bit of DPS. It takes 3 hits from the Scribe to equal out a Dracoden hit. So, not the best in terms of micro initially, but we are going to see that Scribe fall after all. And an initial trade in favor of our Terran player, it must be said. Draconens are expensive units. Now look at this one, sauntering all the way over towards the bridge, but he doesn't really want to be doing this necessarily. Now he is going to combine for some shots onto that Vulture. Down to 2, but 2 more come out. I don't like this position for the Protoss very much, but he is already sort of getting fancy with it. A Scribe moving out to the top right, or perhaps I thought maybe trying to take a hidden natural instead of the default natural that you would expect. Some offensive mines, that could definitely help out, but that Dracoden doesn't live long enough to proc it, so doesn't end up helping Ayud none. Nexus coming. This is not something that you see from Newt's side of it. He's just adding the 3rd Fulcrum, stretching the limits of his early resource allocation. You can support more Fulcrums than that as your economy continues to come online, but you typically want to scale it up a bit faster. But Newt can smell blood in the water. Nexus is a quarter of the way complete, and plenty of action still to come there. We've got Dracoden, Hierophant, just Striders galore. So the Hierophant, unlike the Dracoden, which is, you can think of it as a big fancy stat stick. The Dragoon in StarCraft 1 was pretty similar. The Hierophant has a shorter weapon range, but moves faster. Not as well armored, not as well statted in terms of durability, but when it tags an enemy, it applies a slow effect, and it can stack that tag up enough, not that it increases the scale of the slow, but after 5 hits, which can be done through separate Hierophants or the same, the unit will start attacking slower as well as moving slower. And look at this move out here, though. Before I even further explain, Newt diving onto those Hierophants, no recognizing their power. Still one left to target, but this is a lot of Vultures. There is literal kill pressure here, legit kill pressure here. Newt behind it going for the Cyclops, floating some money. Oh yeah, we're going to see the Scribes get pulled for this one. I think Ayud might have been outmaneuvered. His units can't even get through his natural. They're being stunned by all of the mines. Now, Ayud didn't take as many casualties as I actually suspected he would, given the fact that his Scribes were essentially facing all of these Vultures for a really very long time. Okay, well maybe now it's a little bit better focus fire from Newt, has to be said. Way better targeting fire in the middle of that, for sure. And I think with that, I mean, the Second Nexus still helps out, but this is a deficit of 9 workers that will not easily be climbed back in, caught back up. We even have a watchdog over here in the mineral line of Newt. I wonder what that was for. And already rendering the shields useless, null and void for the Hierophant. He will catch it. The Dracodon stack is pretty dangerous, though. Recall earlier that most of the Striders didn't make it back up the ramp. So Aoud has actually banked a pretty sizable army. That's with that he intends to sort of beat Newt's defenses back. But there's so much production here and still a lot of mines that I don't think Aoud can actually make it happen. I mean, he's going to end up hemorrhaging Dracodons in the process. That's going to be one dead for sure due to the Cyclops fire. There's still a couple of mines that Newt can fall back to. Oh, that doesn't feel like it was quite intentional there, but Aoud apparently is happy to make lemonade out of the lemons that he gave himself. Yeah, with just a couple of vultures here. It's not the greatest front line for the Cyclops, but I just feel like there's too much to deal with right now. He is going to be beaten back indeed. What's he got behind this developing? He's still just got the 3 gates working. It looks like maybe the scribe was misclicked towards the 6 o'clock position in the chaos since it's not quite moving in the right direction. Oh no, he's actually on a patrol route with that scribe, expecting there to be a drop. But Newt is doing no such thing. He's got his second town center up. I guess, you know, steady is the way to victory, according to Aoud. He really thinks that this is the way he can do it. Not really focusing down individual targets, though, and those Cyclops are still at large. Just trying to take chip damage and fall back before that secondary explosion can hit. Cyclops applies an area wherever it attacked, and then it will detonate after a few seconds, as long as the Cyclops is still alive. Does deal friendly flyer, though. Newt can't just walk right into it. You can see a star pad in the production tab as well. Man, this bridge is so hard for Aoud to get across, but he's still trying to fight around it. He's still committing to it. Oh, that's a mine hit, though. A mine hit and a half. Feels like something that Newt could have been using a little bit more aggressively in the process. Still so many. Oh goodness. Well, the Hierophant's almost dead. But as this army starts to fall back, there still is that mine reestablished. Really hard for Aoud to break in without any detection. Looks like he's going to eschew any tech progression at this point, and instead go ahead and try to come back, economically. He's already gotten back up to only a 4-worker gap. There was once upon a time where Newt was really damn good at hitting the Mason button, but for whatever reason, he decided to let his foot off the gas this time around. And now, indeed, we do have another base coming for the Protoss. His Dracodon has cleared the initial mine from that ramp. There's 2 more that were set up in the downtime, though, so it has to be respected. And now the Cyclops count is way too high. So I think at this point, you know, that early sortie from Aoud, it's been held. There's no further pressure coming out of the Protoss. We don't even have any scaling of their production. Instead, it's just 3 gateways still with that extra Nexus coming. And Aoud is not producing more gateways. He is, however, catching up in workers. Slowly but surely. We got Shopkeeper Dog, Shambler, and Godwheat in the chats now. What's up? Hope you guys are doing well. I do want to point out, since Godwheat seems confused, as he often is, that this is indeed a match that was already played back on the 3rd of January. I'm just now getting around to casting it. Cyclops drop. We've seen this before. No defenses here. That scribe that was on patrol has been peeled away. Crucible to empower the gateways is a pretty good move. We have the 10 Dracodons. Oh, look at this. He's caught one of them. He can certainly cycle a couple of Dracs over there. Looks like a couple of them have also been caught by a mine. And immediate evacuation from Aoud. No chance at all for the Cyclops to get any kills, but definitely cause some economic disruption. Now they're all grouped up into one base, though. And so instead of working back to the main, he's actually targeted them over at the 3 o'clock, and he sent some Zealots in the direction of that drop. Try to get some of that splash damage working against him. Down goes that Cyclops-filled Trojan immediately taken care of. And oh my god, Aoud has got a Dracodon stuck. It turned into a photon cannon. That's the old meme. Whenever you would get a Dragoon stuck. Now it's a Warden. Double star pad. Is it just for Trojans? He's made another one. One big difference between the Trojan and the StarCraft 1 dropship is that you can unload much faster with the Trojan. It's got the hot drop passive that lets it unload very quickly. No Vespene mining reestablished here in the natural. That economic disruption is also true over here in the main base. But does he even need it at this point? He is just adding 3 more gateways around the Crucible. He is just making Drakodons. And they do okay versus Cyclops, but I do feel like this is going to be a little bit too much. Now, while he's microing that, the drop comes back in, but it was only 2 Cyclops, and they were cleaned up pretty easily by the Drakodon stuck and the single Zealot as well. Looks like maybe 1 Scribe had gone down in that fight. Meanwhile, the Cyclops trying to fight a war on 2 fronts. We've got another drop coming in as well, targeting down the Matrix. It will go down, almost assuredly, but the Scribes evacuate before they can get destroyed. In the meanwhile, we have those Cyclops continuing to drive in. Newt trying to eradicate every last Drakodon. It's not working out for him. He could evacuate if he wanted to. The Trojan doesn't have anything in it, however. It's just going to try to make a beeline for the exit as more gateways are coming. I can't believe Aoud is just... He lost some workers, lost some attention, and is sitting here right now thinking, yeah, I'm just going to make more Drakodons. I'm just going to keep making Drakodons. We finally have that 3rd base coming for Newt. I think he did end up scouting that there was this base up here when he flew in with that Trojan towards the natural. But it was at that weird angle where he wasn't really, oh my, a lot of idle masons in the natural there. Wasn't actually able to fly over, like a change course or whatever. Now we have the Drakodons moving up towards 12 o'clock. They will confirm that that base is going up, and they should be able to stop the mason from making it as long as there's a little bit of attention paid towards that. But he's busy. He is a busy man, apparently, trying to deal with all of the hostiles. Hey, look at that. Friendly fire will help take out the secondary mason. Died around the same time as the first. Some replacement. There's some more units coming up here, though. Matadors are on the way with the scrapyard tech unlocked, but we've got some zealots. Not exactly new tech to Aoud, but certainly something that he's making a little bit more frequently of, and I love how much better they're doing versus the Cyclops. Hold on. Well, the Drakodons are kind of getting cleared in a few other places, to be fair. And it does feel like the friendly splash damage is helping out a little bit more than Newt would like it to. But even so, he's got Matadors out. He's got a superior economy still. Well, worker count. Crucially, he does not have a superior economy. He needs to secure 12 o'clock first. 7 Matadors a pop. Man, this is really making a lot of Matadors. And I do think Matador Cyclops has some legs to it. Some value there. Adding more and more of the worker production, however. Aoud continuing to churn out workers. Continuing to churn out Drakodons. Nobody's going to be surprised about that. You can see the Matadors kind of trying to shark away, but Aoud just keeps cycling backwards, making the Cyclops hit themselves, making the Cyclops hit each other, their allies. It's very, very difficult for the Terran army to chase the Striders, but he has been able to navigate his way towards the 3 o'clock position. He can keep a couple of these units off to the side, and he has 4 Trojans all filled with Matadors. Well, there are some Matadors in those Trojans, not every one of them. Only 2 of them have any cargo, but, you know, it's about sending a message, and the message is received. Not a single worker is staying alive. But the 2 Drakodons over here that spotted that out have immediately sent Aoud into a defensive posture. He concedes the 3rd base. He has a scribe up here in top right. He also has one at 9 o'clock that could move to the bottom left. Let's see, the Drakodons are coming in here. Is he going to get the unloads off? He gets every single Matador out. And it looks like 1 Trojan will live to tell the tale. But that was really important that he interrupted all of those Matadors from getting into the mineral line, albeit not very many units were there. Now the attack force from the 3 o'clock position coming into the natural. Matadors rending the armor with their fire. Also doing a small amount of damage over time, which delays flash shielding. Pretty big versus Protoss, actually. And the Anciel, which has that protective shield aura around it that intercepts projectiles, comes in a little bit too late to be particularly helpful to that squad. Reinforcements trying to get over the bridge. Tall task at StarCraft 1's pathing. Cyclops continuing to hit those Drakodons and forcing that little blob off to the side. The Anciel is pretty much wrapped up here, but the Cyclops going after all of those scribes. That could be huge. Newt now has more than double the workers of his opponent and humongous lobotomy mines slow down the Dracodons from cleaning everything up anyway. The Mason will win this head-to-head fight in the top right. Boxing for dominance here on Demilune. Kapow. And it looks like the extra bases are going to be needed to take in here ASAP by Aoud. But the scribes are being slowed down. We've got another set of drops coming in. I'm not quite able to unload right in his face. So that's pretty good catch, actually. It's not bad. A Ministry in the top right. Scribe still hasn't made it over to the 9 o'clock position or the 3 o'clock position. I guess it's here at 9, but nothing happening there. Anchor's adding. Aoud thinks it's his time to move across the map, and I suppose that'll get some pressure off his back. Newt has been caught in a transition. Added a Palladium. Bunch of Phalanx is on the way. Key difference between them and siege tanks from Starcraft 1 is when they deploy, they lose their armor. So it doesn't matter too much for the Dracodon, which is going to deal some high initial damage on their basic strike, but matters a little bit more for light attacks. And, you know, honestly, big cancel there in the top right. Dracodons deal 15 damage, but they don't have any armor pens. So, you are reducing it to by almost a third when you're in tank mode. And, of course, their Phalanx shot does have a mortar. So that helps out as well. It's a little bit of a different move. Oh! Some nice little stuns there at the very end. That's Newt's favorite thing to do, by the way. He loves stunning the workers. Jumping onto these Phalanxes, trying to kick him back. Aoud has a pretty big Strider force. I don't know that the Hierophants will be too helpful in this situation. The Phalanxes are a little bit too split to do much, though. This is actually really efficient clears, all things considered. Aoud has an army that's not really supposed to be very good into Phalanx, and the fact that he was able to catch them before they could set up, really, really important there. But a couple more of the mortars are going to find their homes inside Protoss shells. Again, he's just going to decide to move over here, and Newt's a little bit sloppy on trying to plug that ramp. He's got reinforcements coming in. Antseal's continuing to shield the Cyclops blob, and I think maybe Aoud is actually committed a little bit too much. He will end up losing this army. He's killed a couple of Phalanxes. He's barely done any economic damage. And yeah, he might have reset some of the Cyclops count, but that's the level of efficiency that you expect to see out of Phalanx armies, as opposed to what we saw closer to that inner 12 position. Top right never actually got set up there. The big cancel from Aoud. He sets up his own third base again and is back to mining. Dracodons are going to come in and start heckling this position. Makes it pretty hard to handle. A couple of Zealots will add a couple of friendly fire shots over here. The Antseal's swerving back in to try to absorb some of that pressure, but Zealots are killing Antseals through the Cyclops splash. You've seen it all. When Terrans ask for Terran nerfs, this is what they're thinking of. Alright, this should be a better fight for the Terran player. He's got his Phalanxes in the right spot, and the Dracodons are getting shellacked as a result, but they can still maybe try to circle around and pressure this high ground here, salvoing the Ministry. When you're on high ground and your enemy's on low ground, you get extra weapon range shooting at them, so it can be pretty impactful there. Still, the splattering will continue until the composition improves, and Aoud, his idea of improving the composition is to add some Zealots. He's got 1,000 gas! I don't know what he wants to use it on, but surely it's going to be something. His gateway count hasn't really swollen up ever since the Crucible was put down, as he once again finds himself sortying around the bridge. He's got some Zealots and some Dracodons coming in here. There's nothing in that anchor, and the Cyclops are going to deal some friendly splash damage to those Masons, which is exactly what Aoud is hoping for. He's also attempting to once again pressure this inner 12 base, but that's ironically where most of the defenses are. We are up to 9 gateways, by the way, but definitely could use some more. If he can get another Nexus up, anyway. I still can't believe he's got 3 Drax stuck in his 3 gates. Protosses will eventually learn better building positioning, I promise. Aoud doesn't count. He's not a main Protoss. He's a Terran player. A Terran player who knows to make Dracodons, that's for sure. Really continuing to pressure things out. And, yeah, absorbing this attack from Newt pretty easily. I think Newt was hoping that the Drax were out on the map, And you get access to the natural, which, by the way, is pretty close to depleting. Main base just about run dry. It's this base you want to target if you're in Newt's shoes. Top right being taken. You can see every single base being canvassed here, checking all of them. 9 o'clock has still not been liberated from the one Drac, one Scribe. And Aoud has 40 worker deficit here, especially as Newt continues to get a couple of drops off here and there. I think he's correctly realized that the 3 o'clock position is a good spot to be at. Matrix will help out a little bit here, but I think some of these Scribes are a little bit too wounded, and yeah, he is going to be dropping down below half the workers of his opponent. Down the Trojan will go. Reinforcements scrambling everywhere, but I don't know that they're ever going to be able to break this position at inner 12. That being said, Aoud, I've been counting him. I've been waiting for him to die. I've been waiting for him to say GG. He's got 2,000 Vespene gas. He's just really heavily committed into gateways. He's got no spare minerals anywhere. Man definitely needs top right. Man definitely needs 6 o'clock. But Newt hasn't really been leveraging the situation himself either, right? We don't have a Stockade Vestry for Shaman. We don't have, you know, a buttload of star pads for something else like Wraiths or what have you. I mean, versus Draconids, it's pretty hard to try to take the fight to them. But you could at least try to come in, pressure, kill stuff. Better than the drop scan, since Wraiths are cloaked until they get too close to an enemy. And Newt likes Wraiths, but he doesn't like Wraiths enough to use them here. Now he's going to end up losing 12 o'clock. This sort of tempo play. I mean, Aoud shouldn't have been allowed to position over here. You could put Phalanxes up here and just kind of shellac them on the way up. Newt not using the positional there. Tier 2 is almost complete, however. He has gotten the Atlas done. So at the very least there is that, but that's another base gone for Newt. 12 o'clock completely eliminated. A pylon here to block the 9 o'clock, and it's just as Newt arrives to finally take it. It won't slow his opponent down for long, but Aoud is just trying to be as maximally annoying as possible. Which, by the way, as Phalanxes rotate over from inner 12, the Draconans are going to need to get the hell out of dodge. This is going to be a flattening of them. The Ancial's protecting that Phalanx at 5 HP. It continues to send out shot after shot. We've got more units moving over towards 9 so that Newt can stabilize and set stuff up. The Masons are just kind of moving back and forth. Zealots. The Zealots are beautiful here. There's no Matadors in position to kind of absorb this attack and not... No, I guess there are some Vultures, but they're right on top of the Phalanx. Not exactly where you'd want them to be. No lobotomy mines to instantly hit some of that stuff. We've got Draconans from all shots, all sides. I don't think they can break through the Phalanx count, especially with all the Ancials hovering over, shielding them. But it's looking pretty intimidating here. If you're on Newt's side, I don't know if you think that you have the advantage anymore. Setting up 9 o'clock will be a big deal. He's going to go back up to 4 bases. He's actually airlifted the inner 12. Oh, no. He also airlifted his natural. Oh. Oh, dear. Oh, that was not intentional. Okay, now we understand. He's setting up anchors at 9 o'clock. He's got Masons at 12 that still need some freeing from a Zealot. Top right, easy to shut down. I feel like, honestly, 3 o'clock easy to shut down. But once again, Newt is going after these main base targets. These are not economic targets. This is a depleted base with limited workers. You can say the same about the natural, though it's a little bit more well-stocked. A lot more workers could be set up here at the undefended 3 o'clock position. We do have some Matrix and Warden static defense structures warping in. We do have a single captaincy coming for Newt, but he needs more than that. 1,200 Vespene in his name. Where are his stockade add-ons? Where is his tech? Where is it, guys? More Ancials. He's got a lot of Ancials. I guess I can't really say more Ancials. Minefields have been set up over here to slow this down. And he's got more units where that came from. He can try to consolidate defenses around 9 o'clock and maybe see if he can delay that death while he shuts down 3. 3 o'clock is way more important. Remember, Newt still has inner 12 mining. Top right is not set up for Aoud. If 3 o'clock goes down, which it seems like it very likely will, this will be a very, very killer move that Aoud is going to have to sustain. And look at this. The Striders are split into 2 different positions. 9 o'clock can still be saved. It just needs some units sent its way. Phalanx is deploying. They'll cut down the Nexus. And as it explodes over there at 3 o'clock, well, a lot of the Masons have died at 9. But again, inner 12 still mining, still sitting pretty. No worries there. Top right has 10 workers. It's not contributing as much as the counter base was. Maybe the Ancios can try to shield that Ministry. It looks like it might end up going down. Let's see how easy the cleanup is. He's really focusing on it, knowing that it's red. It looks like it will be saved. Well, this is quite the entertaining match, that's for sure. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. I thought they were all grouped up or something. Never mind. Reinforcements coming in. Clean up these phalanxes. They'll still be killing a couple of workers in the process. The Ancios are flying over the wrong targets. You're not supposed to shield your enemies. In fact, by gameplay rules, you can't shield your enemies. All right. Inner 12 has been targeted for termination. Ayud is going to run over there ASAP. He knows that his army backed all the way up to this bottom right or bottom left area of the 9 o'clock base just to slow things down, just to stall things out. And now he's got the prime position to see if he can eliminate this Ministry. Fight back economically. It's a battle of who can float the most gas, and right now Ayud is winning. Still just rotating around, pulling the army completely out of position over time. He's resetting 3 o'clock very quickly. He's continuing to slowly build up workers at 12, or at top right. 12 o'clock has a treasury and a Ministry just floated over there. It was the repaired one from 9 o'clock, I believe. And now some Striders are coming over here to clean up those. He's trying to go ahead and deal with this attack at 12 o'clock. I don't think he's going to be very successful. The phalanxes are not deployed. They're gonna... Yeah, he's losing the treasury for sure. The Ministry was just floated back over to 9 o'clock, and now it needs to go back to 12. I can't believe what I'm seeing, because I really don't think this army is going to quite work out. I mean, well, Ayud's losing a lot of his Striders. They are starting to pop. He kills a lot of Ancials. But now he's got a bunch of Dracodons attacking the inner 12. 9 o'clock will be reset. We got more units coming in from there. Oh, no, not that! Oh, oh, the friendly fire. Friendly fire isn't. Speaking of, dude, how many times do you have to grab your own petard just to be hoisted by it? He's made one madcap this whole game. Not a single extra captaincy, and not more than a single extra, tier 2 unit. Top right still mining. Well, there's not great mining coverage, actually, in these satellite bases for Ayud. Still tight on the mineral income. These Trojans never got activated. Newt's forgotten about them. And it would have been a poor choice to target the main base anyway. Got 3 Striders here and 3 stuck in the captaincy, or the Crucible. Phew! Bunch of phalanxes in the middle. Getting caught by the Dracodons. We got more gateway units pumping out. Just 6 Dracodons in the production tab, that's it. Zealots are coming in small numbers. Now he's got to airlift 9 o'clock again. He has reset 12, but not started mining it. In fact, I think he's going to start mining it just as Ayud rocks up onto the base. And surely this is like the point where you're like, oh man. 3,000 Vespene. They have both crossed the 3,000 Vespene line. And there was 1 phalanx on the low ground still defending. I don't know, man. This is looking pretty dire. The friendly splash. The Dracodon's getting right on top of all the Masons saying, yeah, I dare you to shoot us. I dare you. The phalanxes arrive just to see that this base has actually been set up. I don't know if that's where the phalanxes needed to be. The Striders are coming in to reinforce. We got the natural being pressed in upon as Vultures just came out of the rally point. They didn't have time to lay mines. He lifts another Ministry off from 12 o'clock, and he's trying to go back to 9 when he already had one set up at the natural that he could have slent over at any point. Newt has lost control of the game. Ayud is on the precipice of breaking him. This just Cyclops. He got Zealots in the mineral line. No! No, there's 25 Masons! Oh, there were 25 Masons. And the Striders rocking up at inner 12. We got more units coming in. Masons are being shot everywhere you look. How has Ayud done that? How has Aoud done that? GG. Wow. 30 minutes of pure Dracodon Zealot. There were a couple of Hierophants, and he made an Ecclesiast by mistake. But that is Aoud. Really snatching victory from the jaws of defeat there. Whew. I can't believe it. Good game. Good game.